make sure that we respect everybody's time, and I'll just continue to admit people. Bear with me, I've got a lot of technology going on at the same time. Welcome to September's Arch Acadiana Housing Alliance joint meeting. Thank you for joining us. I see several new faces and names, so welcome. And as always, if there is somebody that's not in the room please feel free to extend the invitation, reach out to me or Melinda so that we can make sure that everyone feels welcome in this space, both interested community members as well as practitioners in all aspects of housing. Let me admit some people. My name is Elsa Dimitriadis. I'm the Executive Director of Arch. I'm also the co-chair of the Acadiana Housing Alliance, and my co-chair needs no introduction, Melinda Taylor, who is the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity. So welcome, everyone. Give me 1 second. Something is going on with my screen. I got it now. Thank you for your patience. So a reminder to mute yourself when you aren't speaking. Please introduce yourself, drop your name, and if applicable, your organization or your co-affiliation in the chat. We're going to have a lot of time, I hope, for Q&A and open conversation at the end. We do have a lot of updates today, and that'll be an opportunity to take yourself off mute, drop your questions in the chat. I think that some of the people who will be speaking would be more than happy for you to raise your hand and they'll address it then. This is a very conversational meeting space. A reminder that this is being recorded. Thank you to AOC Community Media for always making sure that our meetings are accessible to everyone. If you'd like to access this meeting later, I will drop the link in the chat, and it's always on the AOC YouTube page and also available on our Facebook page. And that is by our, I mean Arch's Facebook page. It's been, you know, I think really helpful to take a minute now that it's the fall and there has been so many, let me admit some people, so many active programs going on, that we take a second and make sure that that everyone is up to speed about what's going on, take a minute and just update one another. And so, you know, similarly to last month's Arch meeting where we focused primarily on homelessness, today's focus will be fall updates from key participants in the housing space. We have a number, like I said, of scheduled updates today. We'll have the floor open at the end to any other updates or announcements or questions. 2 notes up front. We have a number of guests who either have meetings that either overlap at the beginning or at the end of this meeting, so the flow might be a little more disjointed than we usually like to have, but hang in there, because I think by the end of the hour, you're going to have a good sense of where we are as a city, as a parish, as a region, and as a state. I'm also going to take us off of presentation mode unless there are slides to look at. I think that it's really important to see faces so that we can really be with one another. we've discussed the National Low Income Housing Coalition's 2022 Out of Reach report before, but wanted to review these stats briefly so that we can continue to contextualize today's conversation and further conversations. And so, across Louisiana, as we know, there is a shortage of rental homes affordable and available to extremely low income households. And you'll see that as the acronym will be ELI, extremely low income, whose incomes are at or below the poverty guideline, or 30% of the area median income, and that would be AMI. I'm trying to make sure that everybody understands all the acronyms. Me too, I keep a little cheat sheet. Many of these houses are severely cost burdened, spending more than half of their income on housing. Severely cost burdened households are more likely than other renters to sacrifice other necessities like healthy food and health care to pay the rent, and to experience unstable housing situations like evictions. And this is a conversation I was actually having last night about how interconnected housing is with so many other elements: education, food, health, etc. So we see that 32% of a renter, let me go back. I'm so sorry. Yes, 32% of renter households in Louisiana are considered extremely low income. You can see that at the top on the left-hand side, with $36,786 being the annual income needed to afford a 2-bedroom rental home at HUD's fair market rent. And then if you look at the bottom left of the screen, 38% of the ELI households, again, that's extremely low income households, are in the labor force, and another 39%, if you combine the 20 and the 19%, are senior or disabled. And I want to note that those are mutually exclusive categories. So while, and they were applied in the following order. So first, if you fell into the senior category, you're counted as a senior. If you're disabled, you're counted as disabled. Then in the labor force, that's the third, then enrolled in school, then a senior adult caregiver of a child under 7, and then, or a person with a disability, and then other. So, just a reminder that many people fall into multiple categories, but for the purposes of a pie chart, yes, I will send you the slides. And you can access the Out of Reach report online. I think that Nicole will drop that link in the chat for me. So just a reminder that many people fall into multiple categories, but for the purposes of a pie chart, that's how they applied those categories. And then if you look at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, renter households, thanks, Nicole, renter households spending more than 30% of their income on housing costs and utilities are considered cost burdened, and those spending more than half of their income are severely cost burdened. So you can see a chart for Louisiana at the bottom right of your screen. And then just as a reminder, I know we put this up periodically throughout the year. It takes 98 work hours per week at minimum wage to afford a 2-bedroom rental home at fair market rent, and then 81 hours of work per week at minimum wage to afford a 1-bedroom rental home at fair market rent. And again, these numbers, while it is the 2022 Out of Reach report, I think is not reflecting the inflation that we're seeing, we're seeing the skyrocketing costs as a result of weather-related events, et cetera. And then, make no mistake, Lafayette is right up there with $17.12 being the hourly wage necessary to afford a 2-bedroom at HUD's fair market rent, which is $890 for Lafayette, and we all know how incredibly difficult that is. Based on if you look at the right-hand side of your screen, based on 2016 to 2020 information, 31% of households in Lafayette are renters. So this is a present problem, both as a city, as a parish, as a region, and of course as a state. So I'm going to stop share as I promised. We've been working, ARCH has been working closely, particularly over the past month, with the Louisiana Fair Housing Action Center. Maxwell Chardulo is going to talk with you more about that at the end of today's meeting. And we've been also working with the National Alliance to End Homelessness on Capitol Hill Day, which was, I believe, last week. This event, Capitol Hill Day or Advocacy Day, is an opportunity to make our voices heard with members of Congress on issues related to housing and homelessness. Across the country on that one day, we were able to speak with over 250 senators and representatives or aides to senators and representatives directly. And this year, our three primary asks for Congress are to fund $3.6 billion for HUD's homeless assistance grants. That's the money that comes down each year to fund our housing and homelessness services for our continuum of care. $32.1 billion for tenant-based rental assistance. And we, we'll hear more about the state of our rental assistance program in Louisiana and here in the city of Lafayette, and then $32.1 billion for housing choice vouchers. And we know the importance, particularly of vouchers when it comes to housing people who are unable to sustain themselves otherwise. The senators and representatives that we met with asked really great questions. They were engaged and agreed to support us in any way that they could. Locally, and I've spoken with many partner agencies, but want to just beat that drum over and over again. ARCH will continue to assist agencies in getting Section 8 applications to our local housing authorities. And I want to clarify, that doesn't mean that we're going to assist individuals with Section 8 applications. They must come through an agency. But once they go to your agency and you complete those applications, you can send them to ARCH. We'll make sure that they're complete and then send them on to the housing authorities. They really would like one point of contact, and we're happy to offer that service. And I was really excited to help figure out a way that we could continue offering that service after we've closed the ESGCV program at the end of August, that 2-year program that we had been running. So I had a—
Dimitri, I'm sorry.
Elsa,
Miss Elsa, do we have those forms? Can we obtain those forms online, or is it just a verbal letter?
There are forms, and we will make sure that you have them. I'm relying on Nicole again because I know that she's on this call. Nicole, if you can go ahead and make sure that Smile has those forms. Had a great meeting yesterday with the Lafayette Housing Authority. Thanks, Nicole. And I know it's going to continue to be a really strong relationship. And again, once those forms are complete, once that application is complete, you can put it in the blue box outside of our front door. We've actually installed a specific blue box for those sorts of things, so it doesn't get messed up with our mail. It doesn't matter if we're there, we're not there. So if it's convenient for you on your way home from work to drop it off, there's a blue box if you're facing our front door on Gilbo on the left-hand side. So just drop it in there and we'll go ahead and process those. And again, we don't give out the vouchers. I want to say this to be super clear. We don't give out the vouchers. We don't decide the pace of when the vouchers are given out. But we can investigate. And if you have somebody on a list, we can certainly let you know where they are on that list, et cetera, so you can manage your clients' expectations. So I first have Alfredo Cruz with Housing Louisiana on the on the on our agenda. I'm not seeing him yet. I know that he was going to join as soon as he could. But if there's somebody else from Housing Louisiana, maybe who wants to jump in and give an update, we'd love to hear it. If not, I will move Alfredo to a little bit later in the lineup. All righty, well, Melinda, you're up.
Sorry, took me a minute to get myself off mute there. So I'm Melinda Taylor, the Executive Director of Lafayette Habitat for Humanity. And as you all know, we deal with a little bit further down the spectrum of housing needs and work with folks who have enough regular, reliable income to afford a monthly mortgage payment, but not enough typically to qualify for a market rate mortgage that would enable them to buy a decent home. So we're a homeownership program, and we will also be moving into the domain of doing some targeted repairs because we work in specific communities. We're focused in North Lafayette per our strategic plan. We are working on scattered site infill redevelopment in north side neighborhoods. And as many of you may know, we've been very focused in the Macomb-Bize neighborhood for the past several years, and we'll continue working there. We built over 40 homes in that neighborhood over the last several years, and we'll continue to do that. But we will also be working and have started, in fact, in the Laplace neighborhood, which is directly north of downtown, the oldest neighborhood in Lafayette. And we have right now, actually, we have 9 active construction sites going on. Let's see, 7 of which are in Laplace, and we'll be starting Women Build, which is our women-fueled building initiative. In October, we had a kickoff last week. That was great. We're going to be building a house on LaSalle Street, 112 LaSalle, which interestingly is almost directly across the street from the first house Habitat ever built in Lafayette on LaSalle back in 1992. So we've kind of come full circle there. We're very excited about that. But I wanted to mention a couple of things specifically today that I would hope that you all can help us spread the word about and also participate in yourselves. Elsa's got a slide. I don't know whether, you can put that up and we can all see it. The Louisiana Department of Insurance is doing a roadshow to go out to communities across the state and provide information about the changing landscape of homeownership or homeowner insurance, which as any of you who are homeowners know, there's a lot going on in that domain right now, both for homeowners and flood insurance. And we're fortunate to have Rachel Lundy Davis from LDI joining us on Saturday, October the 8th. And I also want to take a minute to thank the Downtown Convention Center, Sun Chodo, Chris Williams. They are managing that facility right now, and they've made it available for us to hold this workshop. And our hope is that we can get as many folks across the community who are homeowners, who have homeowners insurance, and who have questions. And there are lots of things that you need to know that you may not be aware of right now. And Rachel is going to come help demystify homeowners insurance a bit and also talk about some of the things that are on the horizon that you all need to be aware of that may result, and in fact are resulting in increasing insurance policy costs. And I'm sure those of you who are homeowners have already experienced this, or when your renewal comes up, you may, but this creates a real problem for people who are at the low to moderate income end of the spectrum of homeowners, because it drives up their escrows if they have a mortgage, and it makes it less affordable if they don't to make the annual payment for their homeowners insurance. So this is creating issues across the board for homeowners, and I hope that you'll plan to join us. And I will share this graphic with any of you who want it so that you can post it. We hope you'll post it to your social media and just help us spread the word across the board about it. We'd love to have as many people. We'd love to pack out the Downtown Convention Center on the 8th, and there will be time for questions and answers with Rachel during the workshop. So please join us. And also back to the work that Habitat's doing, we are also very, very grateful to be in partnership with Lafayette Consolidated Government. And we are building homes with grant funding that we've been able to partner with them to receive home funds and some CDBG funds that will be beginning to roll out repairs that will be targeted around the areas where we're building. But we are also working with the planning department to provide additional support and technical assistance to all of the coteries now. Tina Shelvin Bingham, our community development director, has been meeting with coterie leads across the 5 Upper Lafayette coteries who we're going to be working with, and they're going to be and look for some small grant programs that we'll be rolling out to assist individual homeowners or property owners in the neighborhoods where we'll be working with making improvements to their homes or their facilities. So there's going to be a lot more to announce around that coming up very soon, but that's a partnership that we have high hopes for. So we'll be giving you more information about that as it unfolds. And there's more, but I want to yield the floor because I know we have a lot of other reports today. So more about that at our next meeting.
Thanks, Melinda. Well, you teed up Sunchoto beautifully. So I see Chris is on the call and a number of other Sunchoto reps. So if you all want to, if you don't mind starting with what a Choto is, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. I don't want to leave anybody behind in a conversation that's so important. And then let us know what's going on.
Thank you so much. And it's so good to be on the call with everyone today. We're going to be very brief. We have with us today Marja Broussard, Krista Williams, and Ariel Lamel. And I think Annette may have joined us, but she's at King Center with, I think, a food desert conference that's going on there today. But want to discuss just for a minute. I remember when I was on the council, we had a Choto application. It was 2 pages, very easy to become a Choto. And that was in the 1990s, early 2000s. And we were recently certified by the state and the city through the community, and the Choto is a community housing development organization. And we had to go through and do a packet that basically identifies what we want to do in the spectrum of housing in a particular area by parish. And so we're here in Southwest Louisiana since 2018, and basically doing work. Our mission is to build communities through affordable housing and programming that uplifts individuals and families. And so that's what we've been striving to do. And we're just pleased to be on the call with all of the partners that are identified here today. A lot of you, I know, has been in this space for a long period of time, doing great work to help people in what we believe is the most critical aspect of living in the United States of America, and that is having safe, sanitary, secure, energy-efficient housing. We have far too many people in the city of Lafayette that should not be inhabiting the dwellings that they are in. And we also have a very aggressive, predatory group of investors who are targeting the north side of Lafayette specifically, but also scattered sites in terms of housing practices that I just couldn't do as a person, but these people are quote unquote business people, and they are engaging in what I believe to be predatory practices. So Sunchoto has created a series that we'll be having our 5th series of Let's Buy the Block. And we're trying to get as many groups and organizations and individuals to engage the city and parish to take up these adjudicated properties and take ownership of them. We will provide free technical assistance on how to do that. Everybody knows that Kurt Trahan with the city is doing a great job trying to move those properties. I don't know how many people in his office. I've only talked to Kurt. I think it's a one-man shop, but he may have some support systems in place, but he does a great job. But the goal is to get as many people engaged to reduce this number of over 1,000 adjudicated properties in our city, and let all of the people that are on the Zoom call and all of the churches and all of the civic groups and all of the social groups who want to do something with these properties, let them have it so that the city doesn't have to pay the dollars to cut these properties, to maintain these properties and keep them on the book. It's just unconscionable that with the talent that we have in our community, that we cannot be a little bit more aggressive in reducing that number to where it's something more manageable and providing brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters, with a safe and sanitary space. And so that's what we've been trying to do. And I'm going to just close out by saying that the next session, and I want to, I know that we've had a discussion about gentrification. Gentrification is happening in Lafayette. All right. It's not a question in my mind. I live it. I see it in the community that I'm in. It's happening. It's happening in the neighborhood that I live in. It's happening in the Block area. It's happening in the LaPlace area. It's happening along Senator Street, where people are coming in, investing, flipping, and or increasing rents to some very high amounts. So we want to, our proclamation that we have to have an alternative to that. And one of the alternatives is to address gentrification, is to buy back the block. And that is the title of our next series number 5, on how to acquire adjudicated properties. So we're asking everybody we're going to be at the Downtown Convention Center on November the 15th at 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be just a session that we do, where we're going to have stations that night that will, and the actual application that will show people the properties that are available. And those groups can start targeting those specific properties to take over and to redevelop, to create a safe space, a green space, or whatever it is that you guys want to do. Additionally, we will be having and lastly, we will be having a ribbon cutting on in October, and maybe I'll just forward it to the group and maybe we can just share it. And it's going to be for the Sun Wellness Center that is located at 317 Madeline Street at the corner of Madeline and San Antoine Street. So we've started that. We are in that facility now. It's a house on that corner, and wellness is inextricably tied to housing, right? It deals with all of the factors of nutrition, mental health, physical health, lead-based paint, and all of the other things that we know that we've all been working on for years. So Sun Wellness Center went operational September 1st.
Yes.
And it's going to be a resource for the community to get information as it relates to the health and wellness and the resource centers. Doesn't provide any medical services. It is simply for information and referral. We had a session a couple
When
weeks
is
ago.
it, Chris? Dr. Williams, when is
What?
it? You said October. When is it?
I don't have the date yet.
Oh,
I will forward it out. I'll check with the two people that work there, Sharon Patterson and Benita Williams. What was I going to say? And the first workshop that they did was Aftershock. We was able to have Dr. Brown and a doula come in from Baton Rouge to talk about the mortality rate of African-American females in the United States when giving birth in the United States, in Louisiana today. The statistics are astounding of the number of Black and brown women who are dying in terms of childbirth. So it's an holistic approach to the housing piece. And I know that we're doing a lot of work associated with it. And we will be having a second session dealing with Aftershock and the mortality rate for African-American females in November. And we're going to have Dr. Brown and some other guests to come and discuss it. So with that, I'll end and just know that as we deal with our housing issues and with all the talent and resources that we have on this Zoom call today, we can all work to improve the lives of people in our city and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you pass along those flyers, then we'll make sure that we push it as well. And please, help to uplift each other's events by posting on social media and sharing in your newsletters.
Melinda, let me just say, Melinda did mention the Downtown Convention Center. So we're going to be there for at least a decade or so. And what we've created was a model to have a safe space for community groups to have meetings. So from Monday through Thursdays, we allow the community to come in and have a space to meet. And then we actually rent the facility out on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And so Ann Broussard is the person that is running the facility for us. So if any of you have a community meeting that you need to have in the downtown area, feel free to reach out to us and we'll hopefully be able to accommodate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you drop that contact info in the chat?
We will.
Perfect. Thank you. I think I saw Josh Edmond come in, but I don't know if he's still on. If he is, and you would like to tell us more about the All for One Foundation. I know that you all are doing such great work, especially as Chris Williams teed you all up and the work you do, talking about, unfortunately, some of the condition of homes that our community members are living in. Josh, are you on the call?
Yeah, I think he must have had to leave. I don't see him.
Yep. And I know that he had a couple conflicts. If I see him pop back on, then we will get an update. Next up is Jenny DeBose from the Lafayette Consolidated Government. And then I also see Belle LeBlanc. Jenny, if you would like to start us off, give us an update.
Sure. So I will be giving an update on the Emergency Rental Assistance Program that we've been doing here in Lafayette, LEAP. We've been administering that program with Smile and Catholic Charities. They're the ones doing all of the real work. So we started off, Lafayette received $21.8 million in emergency rental assistance funds. So far, Smile and Catholic Charities have dispersed about $21.1 million. So we're down to about $700,000 left. And I believe they are still slowly dispersing those funds for people who are facing kind of immediate eviction, because we're getting so low, so they're focusing on those. We are also waiting. We received a reallocation of $4.8 million of ERA2 funds. We are still waiting to receive that from the Treasury, but as soon as we get that deposited from the Treasury, we'll be able to disperse that out to Smile and Catholic Charities for them to continue their work.
Thank you so much. And Belle, I see you on. I know that you have a meeting right before this and a meeting after. So thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything we need to know?
Well, our services remain the same. We have certified HUD housing counselors on staff to work one-on-one with people who want to become homeowners or just going through that journey to get their credit repaired to become homeowners. We have free educational classes, homeownership training, financial literacy, and a home maintenance class, so you know how to take care of your home once you are a homeowner. We continue to have the first-time homeowners closing costs, our down payment assistance program, and that's all targeted to low and moderate income homeowners to help with home ownership. We have the housing rehab program that helps low and moderate income homeowners repair their homes when they can't afford to do so. We also have an accessibility ramp program. If people need to have access to their home, maybe they've lost mobility since they've been in their home, we can put ramps in. Demolition program, and I feel like I'm missing someone here, but so, I mean, we're continuing to provide the same services that we have before. We're working on creating a sort of disaster preparation workshop to help our homeowners know how to prepare in the case of a disaster, and then what to do once that disaster hits, and sort of on the line of what Melinda was talking about, to know about what insurance coverages they have, and, you know, do they have clear title to their home? Will they be able to access FEMA funds? So we're working on putting that together right now, and we hope to have that ready within the next couple months to start offering those free as well to the community.
Perfect, thank you. And I see Hilda's hand up. Hilda, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Great work. When I interned, I started that rehab program under the great people that was working there. Listen, what is your waiting list looks like? Is it
The waiting list, I don't have it in front of me, but one of somebody's got, I think it's about 40 or so, to be perfectly honest. And we do prioritize elderly. So if everyone, meets all the criteria, there will be either for special needs or elderly clients would sort of get bumped up on that list.
it's an application process? Could you send me that application or?
Send you the link. We have an online application. So actually, if you go to LCG's website for us, we have a clickable link and they can make application, whether it's for the first-time home buyers or the rehab or the demolition, any of those programs, they can do it all online. So we can follow that real time, so that it's been helping to process things a lot quicker than just with the paper application.
I am so glad. Thank you so, so much. I've been referring, but I think I've been doing it in a different way. But I appreciate it.
We've only recently started doing the online process and we're rolling that out and working the kinks out, but we're so excited to be able to have access to that. I think it's just going to make things go so much smoother and just easier management of all parts of it. We're excited.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
You, Elsa.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jenny, for joining us today. I know you all are busy over there. Next up, and please, everybody be paying attention to the chat. People are asking questions, asking for info, offering their email addresses and information in the chat as well. And so next up, something that we don't, I think, talk enough about is permanent supportive housing and what that even looks like, what that means. And so today we have two guests who are gonna speak a little bit about their programs. First up is Alton Thornton from Acadiana Cares. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, Alton.
All right, good afternoon. Like Elsa said, I'm Alton Thornton with Acadiana Cares. I've been the director of housing here since 2004. I've been here since 99, so 23 years. They asked us to do a quick overview of permanent supportive housing and our programs. So I'll do a quick review and get you all through. Let's see. Okay. Acadiana Cares was started back in 1985 as a response to the HIV epidemic. And over the years, as medication improved and people were living, we figured out there were different parts of the program that we needed to get into. So over the years, we've evolved to get into not only helping those who are HIV positive, helping those to stay HIV negative, helping the homeless, helping people who are dealing with substance use issues, and also healthcare. So over the years, our mission statement has changed to what it is that you see on the screen, to where we focus on vulnerable communities to help them assist them in those 4 areas. So our program in itself, and I'm doing a quick overview here. We have 4 main areas that we work with: our support services, our housing services, recovery services, and clinic and wellness services. So that's going to involve our case management program for people HIV positive, our housing program, our HUD programs, our recovery services. We have a primary and secondary treatment program here on site. We also have sober living here on site. And we also have IOP services that are here on site. And we also have a medical clinic that we opened up back in 2016 to where we do primary care, but we also have our specialties in infectious disease, especially those who are dealing with HIV. That is a list of the different services that people in our program can receive, be it with our HIV services, our housing services, our support, our substance abuse services, and whatnot. The Home Again, Project Home Again 1 and Project Home Again 2, those programs are part of our housing programs for our permanent supportive housing. Permanent supportive housing, all our programs are surrounded by Housing First. The reason why we do these programs is to, as listed up there, is to provide stability, residential stability, improve health outcomes, lower risky behaviors, increase life skills, increase income, greater self-determination. With everything that we do, we stick to our core of keeping people who are HIV positive, caring for them, but also keeping those people who are negative. So if one thing that we came to realize a long time ago, that housing is healthcare. If you do not have a place to lay your head, you're not worried about taking your medication. If you don't, if you have to worry about where you're gonna lay your head, you may get into some risky behaviors and could further the spread of HIV. So everything that we do is to try to eliminate the spread of HIV. One of the first programs that we got was Home Again 2. This program is specific for people who are HIV positive and homeless. Permanent supportive housing is, just as it said, is permanent and you receive supports. You can stay in the program as long as possible. There are very, very few rules to the program. That's why we say housing first. Housing first means you get someone in the program and you surround them with services to try to provide them stability. With this particular program, we have scattered site housing, which means we have apartments that are in the names of Acadiana Cares. The tenant signs an occupancy agreement with us, and they will in turn pay 30% of their income toward their rental expenses, i.e. if they have no income, they do not pay rent. If they do not have income, then we also pay the utilities. If someone does have income, we have the utilities placed in their name and they pay that bill. That's all about creating responsibility and teaching them to be able to be responsible for stuff that they can be responsible for. Currently, between the residential facility and the scattered site facilities, there are 33 units in that program. They receive intense case management. Substance abuse counseling is available if they request it, but it's not something that they have to do. That program in itself, being that we have people, it's strictly for people who are HIV positive. We also receive HOPWA funds that help supplement the program for our residential facility. Home Again 4, that program is for people who are HIV, they don't necessarily have to be HIV positive. They just have to be disabled and homeless. That program is also a housing first program. They also receive intense case management. That particular program has 53 units. With both programs, and they pretty much do similar things. We also, one of the case managers in Home Again 4 and in Home Again 2. So they're receiving the same thing. So what you saw before where they may receive food services, they get a food pantry, there's transportation assistance. If they want to see a doctor, we assist them getting to the doctor, or if they want to see a doctor here, we make sure they can get here. We pay the rent upfront to the landlord, so they don't have to worry about that. We are the main communication between the landlord and the tenant if there's problems, so we can try to deal with those ahead of time. If for those who may not have, may want to apply for the disability, we help them apply for disability, but we always encourage those who can go to work to go to work. We just don't want people just sitting around not doing anything. We want to encourage them to do what it is that they want to do and then what it is that they can do. With both programs, as you see on the funding covers leasing, support services, and operations. Those are the budgets that we have through HUD, and this one is supported, this particular program is supported completely through HUD funds. That's a picture of a couple of the rooms in Hope House. In Hope House, each person has their own television, shower, microwave, their own bed. It's their room. They receive 3 meals throughout the day. They're allowed to go different places as they see fit. During COVID, we had to kind of slow it down a little bit because we didn't want to infect the whole house. But everybody has their own place. Everybody has their own spot with limited rules that they have to abide by. And the next one should also be a couple pictures of Hope House. That's the program in a nutshell. If you have any other questions about our program, you can always go to the website, acadianacares.org. You can email me, Alton at acadianacares.org. If you want to call, 337-233-2437, extension 110 is me. If you dial 0 and you ask for Alton, I'm usually here.
Thank you so much, Alton. Gotcha. Okay, thank you. And I really appreciate all the work that you all do. I mean, really every single person who's speaking today. It's overwhelming how much it's clear that you all care and are invested in Acadiana. And thank you so much.
The one thing before I forget, one thing I forgot to say, with all the permanent supportive housing programs, as Arch as a coalition, we have to take people. We have a prioritization list. So anybody that comes in the program, that's where we all pull from. So if someone that you know wants to try to get into the program, the first step would be having what we call a bias for that and a coordinated entry done, so that we can actually add them to the list. And then when units become available, the prioritization list kind of guides us on who is next to come off the list.
And yes. Ariel asked in the chat if there were any units available in any of the.
Right now in Home Again 2, we're full, but we're trying to see if we can work the budget to add some more people to it. Home Again 4, I know Wendy and Erica are the case managers of that program, and I know they recently added someone too. So I think that was, if not full, almost there. But I'll have them check and see, and I'll let y'all know.
Thanks.
Thank you. And here to talk about another permanent supportive housing resource in our community is Sarah Gilcrease with Faith House.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Gilcrease. I'm the Director of Housing at Faith House Incorporated. Our mission statement is to provide safety, shelter, empowerment, and advocacy to survivors of domestic violence. We do strictly serve survivors of domestic violence. We're a private nonprofit crisis center for those survivors and their children. Some of our services or our service delivery, we work off of an empowerment-based model, which means that we believe survivors are their own person. They are able to make their own choices and able to live independently. And we support them and give them the resources that they might need to be able to do that. We work off of a trauma-informed model as well. We are non-judgmental. We work to create a safety net for survivors in their homes and their communities. And we work on building resiliency and restoring hope. So that is how we deliver our services. Some of our supporting housing programs, I'm going to just talk about two of them. We do offer residential and non-residential advocacy, but I'm just going to talk about two of our housing programs today. So initial eligibility criteria, they have to be a survivor of domestic violence, and they need to be assessed and prioritized for housing assistance, just like Alton was talking about earlier. So we work with low barriers. We offer low barrier housing, which means we don't discriminate against people with substance abuse disorders, a criminal record, mental health concerns, or even the desire to obtain domestic violence services. As long as they are a survivor of domestic violence, they qualify for our housing assistance programs. Some of the supportive services that we offer that are not a requirement, but we do offer them in our supportive housing programs are those DV services and supports, and you can go on our website for more of that information. Independent living skills, working with survivors to develop those, budgeting, parenting, safe co-parenting with abusive partners, obtaining employment, things like that. We offer landlord engagement and intervention, access to mainstream benefits if needed, referrals to community partners, education and advocacy for children, and also goal and safety planning. So one of our supportive housing programs is our transitional housing, and those are transfers from the domestic violence emergency shelter due to that continued need for a secure, safety-focused setting. It's 1 to 18 months. It is one facility that is gated and has 6 apartments within it. Each apartment has bedroom, kitchen, living area, bathroom. The only thing that is shared in the facility is the laundry facilities, and we have an advocate on site. It is also equipped with security cameras and monitoring. Our 24-hour shelter monitors these security cameras remotely. And then secondly, we have our permanent supportive housing program, and this is 12 scattered units. It's mix of family and single. And that is long-term permanent housing assistance for our survivors with disabilities that are unable to sustain that housing on their own. And through that program, we offer monthly case management visits from the advocate or more if needed to help them develop those independent living skills, get proper medical care if they want, and amongst other things, offering advocacy and support. So those are 2 of our supportive housing programs that we offer our survivors.
Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that information. I think people know about Faith House. They know the emergency response, right? But want to make sure that everyone understands the housing piece as well. So thank you so much. We only have a few minutes left. I've seen Maxwell Chardulo from the Louisiana Fair Housing Action Center hop on. He too, I know, is coming right out of another appointment. So Maxwell, if you don't mind giving us a quick and dirty update about what's going on.
Yeah, happily. And nice to see you all again. Thank you for having me. So I think some of you were on a prep call that we had recently. And that is because just background, Maxwell Chardulo with the Louisiana Fair Housing Action Center. So we're a statewide civil rights nonprofit. We are based in New Orleans, but serve the whole state. And so we've been working really closely with Elsa and Arch and other folks last year to try and find some resources for y'all and for people who serve the unhoused across the state to really provide more services. We're trying to do that at the state level and through the legislature. We had a lot of good conversations, but ultimately we're unsuccessful in getting money in this year's budget. But we're not done. We didn't give up. And what we did get passed was a study resolution that requires the LHC to study increases in homelessness around the state and then make recommendations about funding sources to meet that need, and specifically to have a hearing before the House Appropriations Committee, which is the committee where all the budgeting starts. And so that's a really powerful committee to get in front of. And so the first step in that is that we talk to the LHC, and they are going to hold a hearing, an in-person hearing at their offices in Baton Rouge on October 17th at 10 p.m. And so a lot of us are going to be there, and we encourage any of you who want to attend to come, where we're all going to sort of really make a case for the need for additional funding and share about the gaps and services that we have. And there'll be people from all around the state. And then from there, we're going to sort of put a report together and plan for a presentation to that appropriations committee I talked about, probably starting that will happen in the spring, I think, or sort of in the new year. Yes, I know that we can send that date and time out. Again, it's October 17th at the Louisiana Housing Corporation at 10 a.m. There may be some additional sort of like Zoom hearings that they're going to put together. We just don't have the dates on those yet. But that's the next step that I just wanted to share with everyone. That, and then also if you're interested, feel free to let me know, but I'll drop my email here. One of the other issues that we worked on last year at the legislature and that we were going to work on again in the next year is trying to make some reforms in our laws to make it a little easier for people with criminal records to access housing. And that is something that I know affects the folks that you work with. It affects people that we work with, and it actually affects 49% of all adults in the state of Louisiana who have some sort of criminal record. So that's something we did a lot of work on last year and we got close. We got a lot of Republicans involved, and I think we're going to work with them starting again this year to try and make some changes. So stay tuned to that. And like I said, I'm dropping my email right now. If you're interested in getting involved in that work, just let me know.
Thank you, Maxwell. And if you all can hold on just a couple more minutes, we have one final update. Alfredo Cruz was able to join us from Housing Louisiana. Yeah, you're kind of coming in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in a building and it's probably
Okay, Alfredo, how about we put you up on the next meeting? You'll start it out. We'll make sure, because I know that you're available that next time, and we'll make sure that that you have as much spacious time on the agenda as you need, because we do want to hear from Housing Louisiana. We are kind of at a crunch right now because it's 1 o'clock. I forgot to announce, we were so thrilled. We got the Arch Share House truck back yesterday. So we're going to be able to continue that work and resume our deliveries and our pickups. Did want to give a heads up that we are a little behind because we got bottlenecked. So if there is anybody with a truck, if you were able to assist with any deliveries or pickups, we would appreciate it. Please reach out to Rachel, our share house director, at rachel@archacadiana.org, and that's RACHEL. The Arch meeting in October is, as always, the fourth Thursday of the month. That's October 27th at noon. In addition to making sure that Alfredo is able to come and speak. We also have a special guest, Frank Southall from the Jane Place Neighborhood Sustainability Initiative, which is a nonprofit in New Orleans focused on affordable housing in Mid-City. It's previously known as Jane Alley. It's where Louis Armstrong grew up. The model is really interesting. It utilizes the community land trust model of land conservation and shared equity in order to focus on increasing the range of affordable housing options available to low and moderate income residents. So it's everything from home ownership to renting to cooperative housing, all while really centering neighborhood sustainability. It's a really great program. We've got a lot of great things lined up for the rest of 2022 and 2023, both Arch and the Acadiana Housing Alliance. I'm not trying to be vague, but want to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row and we can under-promise and over-deliver. I see Chris Williams' hand up. I think it's Chris. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everyone. It's Marja, actually.
Hey, Marja.
I work for Chris Williams, but I'm also the NAACP Louisiana State Conference District D Vice President and the Political Action Chair for the state. I just wanted to share with everyone that during our last state conference, our annual state conference, the NAACP, we had a resolution that was passed in reference to housing. And Elsa, I'm going to email that to you so that you can get that out to everyone, because our goal is to, we hope that everyone would take on and pass this resolution, as many entities as possible, so we can get the policy setters, on the same page with this knowledge of what needs to happen, that every citizen deserves to have a safe, sanitary, and secure housing. So I attached the one that the NAACP passed, and I redacted the information and made one like a sample for anyone to use, and they could, of course, amend it as they see fit. Thank you.
You're going to email that to me, Marja?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfect. Are there any other announcements? I know that we didn't have the time that I had hoped, but I think we got really great updates today. So if you do have an update, go ahead and take yourself off of mute.
Just one, and it's just to announce that October the 19th, we're having kits and calendars. We're giving away kits, hygiene kits and calendars for 2023, both in English and in Spanish. That's at 501 St. John. And then we also have November the 10th, save a date. We can maybe talk about it. No, it'll be over in November, but in October.
Yeah.
November the 10th is our expo, senior expo for RSVP at Smile. It's going to be Robichaud Center, 9 to 1. If you want a booth, a table, or information so that you can give it to the seniors and elderly and caregivers, we'd appreciate it. A lot of stuff going on to help the clients. So stay tuned. We have a senior day every senior day, which is elderly day, that they can come get information every Tuesday at 501 St. John. Thank you so much.
Hilda,
Elsa, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Two questions. October 19th for kits and calendars. What time is that?
It's from 9 to 2.
9 to 2. And on November 10th, how do people get a table? They email you?
Yeah, just email me and then we'll send you the kit, the package.
Perfect.
That you need.
Okay, cool.
And of course, governmental agencies, if you don't have funds, we need your information. We need you. Okay.
Perfect.
They just give a donation. What we ask is just to give 2 door prizes, if that case.
Yep. Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, this is Alzina Durrell with Quiet Town Coterie. I am proud to announce that I have been certified by the USDA Agriculture Department and Second Harvest to Serve here in Quiet Town Coterie. So our first distribution date will be this Saturday, September 24th from 9 to 11 for the residents back here in Quiet Town. We will also have food boxes. We will also have personal hygiene items. And we will also be serving the diaper bank. And that's this Saturday, October 24th from 9 to 11 in Quiet Town, Puerto Rico. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, I took really copious notes. I may hunt down some of you for some flyers and we can just do a big newsletter of everything that was exchanged today. Thank you to everyone who spoke today, who everyone attended. I know it's just getting thicker and thicker. Yeah, Alzina, do you want to answer in the chat, Wendy, about what the address for the diaper bank is? Let's see, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Melinda, if you have any questions, suggestions. This is your housing alliance, right? So if there's anything that a gap that you see or something that you would like to have us investigate, advocate for, etc., please don't hesitate. There it is, 301 Darrell Street. Darrell, D-A-R-R-E-L Street.
Yes, it's Darrell, yes.
Thank you. And please keep in touch. Have a great rest of the week. And thank you for spending an hour with us. Bye-bye.